Councilman Ted Garrett will lead us in prayer, and you'll all remain standing for the pledge.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we come to you tonight and thank you for all the blessings that you provided us in this great city. We ask that you put your calming hand on this body tonight as we do people's business. At the same time, I want to make sure that we constantly keep in mind those people in harm's way over in the Gaza Strip and Israel. Be with all of them, help them all, keep them safe, and help find a resolution to this conflict. I ask all this in your son's name. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I believe we have some leadership lounge youth participants. Can you please stand? Good. This is probably the last meeting that the adult class can attend. Are there any of the adult class here for leadership lounge? All right, so we're going to move on to item 2, minutes for approval. This item being council set time to review the minutes from the September 7th special council meeting and September 21st, 2023 regular meeting. Council, are there any additions or deletions at this time? Minutes are approved by acclamation. Minutes from the October 5th, 2023 regular meeting are still fully counted. Item 3, bids, contracts, agreements, and expenditures. And A, consideration of a request to purchase an automated fingerprint identification system. That's an upgrade for the city of Valdosta's criminal laboratories. Police Chief Leslie Manhattan presenting. Hi, Chief.
Hey. Thank you, Mayor and Council, City Manager. I'm coming for you tonight to request to move forward with the purchase of a upgraded automatic fingerprint identification software system, an AFIS system. Our crime lab uses this AFIS system and it's maintained by the G.B.R. and it's used on a criminal level where if evidence is collected at a scene of a fingerprint, it's run through the system and it's a G.B.R. database. In saying that, the G.B.R. determines what software system is being used. And currently we're using the NEC Corporation, and the last revision was in 2010. Well, it's time, it's lived its life, so NEC Corporation has come out with a new, upgraded, better version, and anyone who's using the AFIS system now must go to that version by December 1st. Unfortunately, we just found out about it earlier this month, so it was not budgeted for. But the crime lab has gone through their budget and they have located $12,470 that was improved in FY24 that they are able to put towards this system. The total price is $44,600. So the remaining, I've gotten with the finance director, the remaining $32,130 will have to come from current revenues. So we're asking to move forward, that you allow us to move forward with the purchase of the AFIS upgrade for $44,600 with NEC Corporation.
Council, any questions for Chief? Chief, thank you. Council, it's your correction.
Mr. Mayor, I question we approve this request next Tuesday.
Second. A motion and a second. Any further comment? All in favor, show of hands. Motion carries. Let's do item B, consideration of a request to purchase new body armor for the Tactical Operations Unit at the Valdosta Police Department. Again, our Chief present.
Thank you again. The members of our Tactical Operations Unit, or our TOU is what we call them, they respond to high-risk situations such as armed barricaded subjects, high-risk search warrants, and any other situation that we need specially equipped and specially trained personnel. Due to the type of situations that we ask of them to respond to, they do require a higher level of protective gear. And the lifespan of all of our body armor is 5 years. The current body armor that our TOU members are wearing was purchased in 2018, so it does expire at the end of this year. So when their body armor does expire, they will not meet the regulations that are set forth by the National Institute of Justice. who governs the safety equipment for law enforcement. But not to mention, we want the best out there for our people to try to keep them safe. So we did receive 3 quotes, and our tactical team did try out all of the gear. The lowest bid was from Verco Materials LLC that came in for $51,181.50. For FY24, council has approved $62,000 in budget, so we're coming in under budget, and we're requesting to move forward with this purchase.
Any questions for Chief on the body?
I have one.
Yes, sir.
I know we normally go with the lowest bid.
Yes, sir.
But you said you wanted us to do the best. How do you recommend this?
They tried all of this on, and they're very happy with it. Yes, sir. Thank you for asking that.
What's the difference? I'm just curious.
The difference in what they're looking at now, it's kind of like an alligator scale with the metal or with the protective gear, and this one they can actually recycle, and it'll be cheaper 5 years from now. Somebody coming before you, it could be cheaper because they can recycle those vests. But it's a neat little. It almost looks like scales. It's really neat.
Any further questions for Chief? Chief, thank you. Council again, there's for action.
Sir, I make a motion that we approve the request presented by Chief.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further comments? All in favor, show of hands. Motion carries. Move on to item C, consideration of request to approve proposal and consulting contract for services to a historic resource survey of the south side area of the city of Valdosta. G.B.R.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, ladies and gentlemen of council. As you see in your packets, this is a request to execute a contract for a historic resource survey for the south side area of Valdosta. This includes an area of about 1,100 parcels south of Savannah Avenue down to Old Clyattville Road, and I think North or South Oak Street is the western boundary onto, I can't really read it there. Yeah, Griffin, I guess. Well, yeah, going up on the east. You'll remember we recently completed phases 1 and 2 of our local historic district survey. Now this is the next phase in identifying and documenting historic resources in the city. Earlier this year, council approved a resolution to spend as much as $60,000 on a survey of this area. Since then, the city has secured $25,000 in grant funding from the state to help offset the cost. The city issued an RFP last month. We received 1 bid, and as you can see, the cost was a little bit lower than what we were anticipating. Furthermore, the firm that did respond with the proposal was the one that did phase 1 of the historic district survey a few years ago. HPC was very pleased with their product. The state was also very pleased. So based on council already approving the resolution earlier and HPC's recommendation to accept the proposal, our recommendation is to approve the expenditure. So I'll take any questions.
Got a lot of questions, Jim?
Who did you talk to when you made it to the area? Did you talk to the residents? Or just roll by and you selected what you thought was explained?
Well, no, we haven't done the survey yet. I mean, what we did is we.
When you do the survey, will you include some of the councilmen or some of the citizens that do live in that area?
Oh, well, absolutely. They won't be part of the survey. I mean, this will be a windshield survey. So basically, they'll drive by, they'll document, all the parcels, what's there, what's the style of the building, what is the approximate age. And it's basically a fact-finding mission to see what is still there. A lot of this area was surveyed about 20 years ago. However, there's been a lot of change in the area since then. I don't want to get too far off in the weeds, but it was placed on the National Register. Of course, that's different than the local district, and as far as ordinance and protections and stuff like that. But to answer your question, yes, the local community will be part of whatever action is taken based on what is found in this windshield survey, whether they want to come and expand the district, whether they want to offer certain recognition for individual properties. We already have some of that in our ordinance that can be done. But this is basically, a contract to hire a professional firm that does this, an architectural, cultural resource, historic firm, to go in, survey what is still there, compare it to the documentation and the reports that were made in 2004, 2005, see how things have changed, and then use this as a basis for future planning. Whether they want to expand the district, whether they want to offer protections to certain properties. Basically, this gives us an idea of what is there, how things have changed in the last 20 years.
Greg, I just don't want you to leave out the citizens, because they are the ones that live in that area. And plus, there's a lot of historic there that I do feel that if we can do something to expand it or upgrade it or accelerate, but I do want the citizens included in this.
And to answer that, citizens will have to be included. It will have to be a community-led effort to do things like expand the district or recognize and protect individual properties. It wouldn't work, if it were a top-down effort from the state and the local jurisdiction to do that. It would have to be a community-led effort.
Sorry. And this will be brought forth through the media and et cetera, so they will, social media, everything, so the citizens would know when it starts.
Oh, yes, absolutely. We would release information to the media as far as the process for the survey, and then after we've collected everything, this will take a while. It'll be about February 2025, I think, is when the reports will all be done. But at that time, whatever action the community wants to take or individuals would like to take, it'll have to be a community-led effort. And any of that, expansion and stuff will have to come before council and be approved. And, that'll be a whole separate process.
Thank you.
Jeff,
You're welcome.
if you don't mind, I think I want to recognize Matt, because obviously
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify something, because this could turn into a multi-step process. What you have before you tonight is simply step one. This is for survey work of the properties. It is not survey of the property owners or the citizens in that area to gauge whether they want to be included in the historic district. That is a step that would come much later. This is just to gather information for the properties themselves, whether they're historic or not.
Information from the survey, you still should include the people that live in the area if you survey in that area.
Right. The survey is about the properties, not the people. The surveyors doing this work may look for more other sources of information about the properties. And I know from phases 1 and 2, they did talk with a few people that they did encounter just to get some other information. So I anticipate that to be happening. But the emphasis is on the properties, not the will of the property owners in there just yet.
So, I mean, one more question. You say we're going to go out there and survey it. Do we have a listing? I know he named some areas.
Right.
So we will see the listing that you're going into survey.
Right. In your packet, there is this map, which is the survey boundaries. And if you look,
I did see some in Highland Street, that's what I'm asking.
correct. If you look at the map, there is the shaded area in green. That's the Southside National Register District. All of that was surveyed 17 years ago with the National Register listing. So all of that data is 17 years old. There was a generalized survey of the whole community 21 years ago. That's very much out of date. So we had to delineate an area for this survey. So we wanted to include all of the National Register District plus an area around, just to make sure we catch the fringe areas. And being cognizant of not getting too big of an area. We were already pushing the limits at over 1,100, which is larger than anything we've surveyed before. So we were worried about that.
Because I didn't know when Mr. Horton was here, he promised to take myself and Councilman Tooley around with him when he was doing that survey, so we could get an idea of how he was placing what areas should be surveyed.
Correct, and that was for the National Register and also a driving tour of that district.
You never got a chance to see it.
I'd be happy to show you the boundaries, certainly.
Yeah, the driving tour for that area already exists, and that's a marvelous tour to take.
Step by step and show us.
Okay.
He didn't.
Okay.
He got, he moved up before he got a chance to do it.
Well, I think we could schedule
Yeah,
something.
I'd be happy to show you. But basically, as he said, everything inside that map and those boundaries will be surveyed.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions for Jeff or Matt? Gentlemen, thank you. Council, here's for action.
Mayor, I can make a motion to approve this request as presented.
Second.
Any further comments? All in favor, show of hands. Council, thank you. Motion carries. Move on to item D, consideration of intergovernmental agreement with the Valdosta County Industrial Authority and commitment letter to the EDA for infrastructure improvements for a new Walmart manufacturing project before us in Valdosta City today.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'm sure you're all well aware of this project. It's been very well publicized. We've been in discussions for this project for many, many months. It's known formally as Project Forage, which we now know to be a Walmart manufacturing facility, which is going to bring hundreds of jobs to the area, to great benefit to our community. This particular agenda item is for your consideration of the IGA, the Intergovernmental Agreement with the Development Authority, as well as your consideration of the commitment letter to be signed in conjunction with the application for the EDA grant. I have done my best to load this packet with as much information as possible. I've included, I'm sure you guys have seen all the pages, but I was going to print all of it, but it's quite a bit. I've included the PER, which is the preliminary engineering report, which was required to be commissioned for the EDA grant application, which basically lays out the scope of the work as well as the associated funding, instruments, costs associated with the project, estimated preliminary costs. In any case, the city has agreed to fund and support this project with a commitment of $6 million. A portion of that, as detailed in the agenda item, is for matching funds for this EDA grant. The EDA grant commitment letter is also included. The draft copy is included in your agenda item. There was a late addition of an additional exhibit, which is Exhibit B, in the draft commitment letter, which details the nature of the payment. The language in that commitment agenda, or the Appendix B, the language in that appendix is intentionally vague while being direct, such that we can have some flexibility with how that funding is doled out to the Development Authority, but it's very clear in the terms of it. I can go through each one of those if you have questions. I can go through the economics of the decision. I can go any direction that you'd like if you have any questions for me, but I'm just here to serve y'all. So.
Council, any questions for Ben? Ben, very good.
Yeah. Any questions at all? Yep.
Council, any questions for action?
I make a proposal we have forward request presented by Mr. B.
Motion and second, any further comments? All in favor, show of hands. Council, thank you. Ben, done. Item D, consideration of an intergovernmental agreement with the Valdosta County. Oh, sorry. I knew it was another agreement. Consideration of an agreement for governmental affairs representation in the city of Valdosta. Our city manager, Richard Harvey.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. This is consideration to establish a governmental affairs representative for the city. Code Title Strategies serves as a governmental affairs consultant and provides representation for municipalities and counties in the state of Georgia. The overall scope of the work is to collaborate in the development of governmental affairs strategies for the state of Georgia and for the Georgia congressional delegation. Mr. John Crawford is principal consultant of Code Title Strategies and will manage the delivery of all services to the city. John is a recognized governmental affairs professional with more than 20 years of experience. He has a skilled relationship continue to build relationships with key legislative and executive leadership, and they will work with the city of Valdosta to implement a public policy agenda and communicate directly with the members of the General Assembly. They will develop a well-planned strategy to educate and influence the opinions of government leaders. The proposed monthly fee will be $4,000 per month. You can see all the details in the attached agreement. The terms of this agreement will run from November 1st, 2023 to October 31st, 2024, and either party can terminate the agreement without cause with a 30-day notice. Staff recommends council approve the agreement with the Coleman County strategy. Mayor, any questions?
Any questions for Richard?
Just for clarification for the citizens, Coleman County Strategies is a totally separate entity from Coleman County in terms of law. Yes. City.
Any other questions? Yes.
What's an example of some of the services that we receive, like free work?
Just like right now, we have some issues going on with the movement of our coordinating and communicating with FEMA and G. You know, these individuals will be able to directly speak with members in the General Assembly on the issues that we had moving along these grant spending contact. Any issues that we feel that's important that represent the city of Valdosta that needs to be pushed along. We move forward.
Grant funding. There's some excess money floating out there. We get rid of it. Of course, at that 3.5-month session, they're quick to call. So that's the services they offer. They're 5 years because they're up in the holiday. 4 days a week.
So you really get a report at the end of the year.
Oh, absolutely. Weekly, matter of fact. We'll get it. Any other questions for Richard? Council, is yours for action?
Mayor, I make a motion to approve the agreement with Coleman County Strategies LLC.
Second. A motion and a second. Any further comments? All in favor, show of hands. Council, thank you. Richard, thank you. Item 4, local funding request, consideration of request to donate property located at 237 and a half Baker Lane to the Valdosta County Land Bank Authority, Deidre Riley. Fantastic neighborhood development and community protection manager of the
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I come before you for a request for consideration for the donation of 237 and a half Baker Lane. Eric Thomas, the Executive Director for Land Bank, contacted the city seeking the donation. The property is tax exempt. They want to be able to donate the property or sell the property to add it back to the tax roll. Staff is recommending that we approve this donation. And I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Council, any questions for you?
For the citizens to really understand what you're saying, we're going to donate this property to the land bank, so the land bank can hopefully put something on that property. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, they received proposals for that property.
So it will be, so the land bank will be able to sell it to a citizen if they wish to build a home or something in that area.
That's correct.
I just wanted you to verify for the citizens to understand.
That's correct.
What we're saying.
Yes, ma'am.
Any other questions for Richard?
What's the value of that parcel?
It's $1,800.
Council, any other questions? Deidre, thank you. Council, is yours for action.
Mayor, I make a motion to approve the request as stated.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any further comments? All in favor, show of hands. Council, thank you. Deidre, thank you. Now move on to the citizens to be heard portion of the evening. We ask that you come forward and state your name and address so we can have it for the record. Our policy requires that you stay under 3 minutes so that others have time to be heard. Please direct all comments to council as a whole. Please do not attempt to engage individual members of council in debate. It's our policy to follow through with you almost immediately under concern. Additionally, we ask that any groups that want to address the council designate one spokesperson to represent the group in their comments, so again, to ensure that all have time to be heard. With that being said, if any citizens be heard this evening.
Hello, Mayor, Council.
No problems.
My name is Vaughn Shipman. I live at 3312 Britton Drive. Lived there for 25 years, so it's a nice subdivision. I had a good experience today with the engineering department. Some of my neighbors always call me when there's something that they want to check out, so I took advantage of talking to Angela Bray, and I think everything's looking good on the situation. So I want to congratulate you and also thank you for your leadership during the storm preparation, recovery, and all the city staff that worked and continues to work to make our city bring it back as close as possible. But I really wanted to come tonight and reflect that 20 years ago today, we opened the Traffic Management Center. Y'all don't know, probably wasn't around, some of you were. That was quite a big step. We were only one of few TMCs in the state, certainly one our size for our community. The council had foresight and supported us as we made the decision to move forward with that, and Jimmy Rainwater and the council at the time, he passed away right before we opened it, so he never got to see it. But I'm also proud with the city staff of taking that infancy of a project, and while we grew it until I retired in 2010, it has continued to improve. I'm very thankful for the insight, foresight, and the support that you all give for long-range projects. Sometimes things, you don't get an immediate return on your investment, but I think we all see that the traffic flow with the technology has allowed us to get places better, faster, more efficiently, while accidents continue to decline with the excellent work of the police department. So that's what I came, no complaints, just wanted to thank you. It was a good day 20 years ago, and it's a good day today. Thank you.
You said you live 3312 where?
Britton
You
Drive.
engineer here, didn't you?
I sure did.
You know, you got the hair, you kind of threw me off.
Well, I'm trying to chill.
Thank you, Mr. Long.
Thank you. I took the tail out.
Are there any other citizens wishing to be heard at this time?
Hey, how y'all doing? Hey, my name's Anthony Fudge. I live at 2104 Pin Oak Circle. I'm one individual whose house had flooded during the hurricane, but that was actually the third time my house flooded. And I live right by a trench that the water tries to flow through. And I know the engineer, when I came here last time, he said that there was something in place for a retention pond near the fire station on Park in the next fiscal year. The other day, a couple of guys came from the city to clean it up a little bit. They had tractors, saws, and everything, and they packed up 2 minutes later and left. So I called the city and spoke with a young lady, and she said they left because she told them to. They had to finish something they didn't finish a day before or something, and never came back. But every little bit over there helps, you know. And I asked her about the retention pond, and she stated that, yeah, it's probably going to be 2 years from now or 2.5 years from now. So is it the next fiscal year? Is it 2 years from now? Because it's really needed over there. I know a lot of guys didn't see the pictures or whatever, but my house had 20 inches of water inside, and my next door neighbor didn't have a drop, and we share a fence. So the retention pond is really needed. So is it next fiscal year, or is it 2 years from now? I'm just wondering when is it going to happen.
You'll hang around.
Yeah, definitely. All right, thanks.
Get your name again, sir? It was Anthony?
Anthony Fudge, right.
Thank you, sir.
Are there any other citizens wishing to be heard at this time?
Good evening, everyone. I'm John Robinson, 3327 St. Julien Circle 8 Park. I heard tonight that I saw that you voted in the deal with the historic resource survey. kind of like throwing out the bathwater of the child before you bathe the child. What I mean by that is that it took this many years, 40-something years, to recognize that you don't even know what's really taking place in your city with an impoverished people. It's time for some major changes here. We met with the Department of Transportation this afternoon, and we discussed some issues pertaining to the St. Augustine project. And no one seemed to recognize the harm that have been done to this city and the people of this city. We are looking to move forward with things that we've been discussing with you guys, and we're looking forward to make it very progressive. And we want to be aggressive in what we are doing and going to be aggressive in what we are putting our efforts into doing. With the DOT this afternoon, we discussed the T-Splash. T-Splash on the ballot here, so that if you could build a bridge for $70 million, $75 or $80 million, why can't you use T-Splash to sustain the community? Once you put the bridge in and done destroyed the community as the Overbeck Pass did in 1981. We're asking that they be put on the ballot here for T-Splash for revitalization to support programs such as revolving loan funds, training facilities to teach people trades. We realize it's going to take time. Say, for example, if you're going to broaden Barack Obama Boulevard and there's $30 million involved in that, come from T-Splash, that same ethic can be used for restoration and revitalizing the city. And taxpayers be putting monies in, but they'll be getting something back out of it. Instead of just pavement, sidewalk, people out here is from the lack of food. When Ms. Tooley served on Wednesdays her dinners for the people that come by from her little food bank deal, there'd be a line of cars. That's a signal that something is very wrong here. There's too many people that's in line to get food when the food banks open up. There's too many people going there to get food. That's a sign that something is very wrong here. I believe the T-Splash can help change that. Thank you.
Are there any other citizens wishing to be heard at this time?
Good evening. I'm Pastor Darren Neal, President of the NAACP, 1587 Bay Tree Road. There's an issue that has been spoken of extensively over the past several months. There's construction that has occurred just south of Frog Street, south of Hudson Docket, just on the other side of Pineville. Without any shadow of a doubt, it is a major situation in which emergency vehicles can't arrive in that particular section of town. Both sides are blocked off. Construction has not occurred in that spot, and I can't tell you when. It was started July 10th, and here we are almost approaching November. And what should be a basic refortification of a bridge has turned into a project that's at a complete standstill. There's no way for EMS to get in. There's no way the church folk can't go to church in that area. It is an age-old rhetorical situation where the black community is completely underserved. We are here to hopefully gain some attention in that area. If someone will focus on that bridge, if someone will focus on the construction, if they can hurry it up, if they can give us the reason as to why it's still standing still, I can just about surmise why you have private contractors that bid out on those jobs, and you're at their mercy depending upon whether they decide to get the work done. But now it's time for the city to talk to whoever's in charge of engineering and talk to whoever's in charge of that project and get it moved. This would not have sat still in any other neighborhood, and it's just so disturbing for me to see the same backhoe and grader sitting in the middle of the road and has not been touched. I coach football in that area, and I go over there every day and I check the location of that backhoe, and it's sitting in the same spot. It's been sitting there for weeks and months, and no one's moved it. There's no traffic that can flow through. No one can get in or out other than to go around, completely around the neighborhood. And I just can't seem to see why it takes this much outcry for someone to finally say, hey, we're still fighting in the black community for sidewalks, street lights, and just basic necessities that every other neighborhood has. Mr. Mayor, we've had this conversation before that the spending, $250 million spent in the white community and wealthy communities and less than $2 million spent in the black communities. And year after year, I believe that the deficit has been created by the misspending. We need to fix this. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Any other citizens wish to be heard?
I'm George Washington Ryan, 504 Oak Drive, Valdosta, Georgia. Mr. Mayor and Council, last meeting I talked about how we treat citizens and that I travel the state of Georgia and how some cities have been fined up to $45,000 for not being consistent in how citizens address this council. Last meeting, someone on council referred to me that they disagreed with me. I have no problem with that. But I assure you, Councilman, that it is indeed a disgrace, in my most humble opinion, for a citizen to stand before you. He cannot be listened to by you, and you all can't respond to them until after we take our seat. And then you come back and make comments about a citizen, and that citizen is not given an opportunity to respond to you. That's disrespectful. You shouldn't do your own children that way. And the council can change the laws because I've been in other cities and it don't operate like that. I also noticed in the last meeting, someone added 2 minutes to my time. Not a single one of you councilmen said nothing. You sat there. In my most humble opinion, you're giving up your power. You're giving up your power, as I've seen done in other cities. There's no way some of those council members in another city would sit there, the mayor would say, can I get a motion to give him 2 minutes? And you all would approve it. Or some of you don't agree with it, you want to vote for it. And then in some cases, it's just not granted. I love our form of government. I don't like dictatorial type governments. I couldn't make this at the last meeting because I was taking and assisting another lady about that bridge situation. I'm not going to finish tonight, but I will be back to finish it. When the people came from out of town, since someone disagreed with what I said at the last meeting, the people that came and volunteered to help Valdosta, they was at Scott Park, and I went through the park and I actually interviewed people working to help us, and they couldn't even use the bathroom. And I told them I have stood before my councilman and the mayor, and the bathroom wasn't open for those people. I was so saddened. I wanted to post the interviews online, but to me it would have been too embarrassing. And I'm not going to post them, but I could have. So I just want to say to you all, councilmen, don't give away all your power. Stand up and be heard. After all, that's why we voted you there, to say something, not just to be a stone man. Thank y'all very much.
George, anybody else, any other citizens wish to be heard at this time? Seeing none, we'll let that question be taken and turned over to the city manager and the city manager's report.
Yes, Mayor, we have a lot going on in the next week, 2 weeks. Invite everyone out tomorrow to our Love Your River cleanup. We're working side by side with Lowndes County to clean up Sugar Creek and the 1 Mile branch. The meeting location is Drexel Park, meeting at 10 a.m. and it will run from 10 a.m. to noon. October the 26th, Friday, 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. City staff will be reading to W.G. Nunn and J.L. Lomax. So if you want to participate in that, contact our public information office. On October the 26th, Thursday, we will have our 4th annual festival at Unity Park from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. We invite everyone from the community to come out, bring your Bring your families, come out and enjoy that. We will have booths that will be giving candy away, and we will also have food trucks on that evening. On October 27th, Friday, 5:30, downtown will be celebrating with the Witches Night Out. Again, opportunity to celebrate, come out and have some fun downtown, dress up in your best witch attire and explore downtown. Purchasers will be offering a variety of incentives throughout with what we call punch cards. Our last item, which I enjoyed the last month, November the 2nd, 7:45 to 9:15, coffee and conversation with the city managers. This will take place at Just Love Coffee, 1733 Gronto, Suite 101C. That's all I have.
Thank you. We're on to council comments. Council, do you have any comments to add?
I am.
Eric?
I wanted to go back on something that we talked about before. Every meeting we approve a lot of money for equipment for our city to be able to do the job that we do. But our citizens ask for simple things like a sign that says slow down children and speed bump. And we're telling them no. I think we're doing a disservice to them and to us when we don't provide them with simple things like that. I mean, we all live in district. We can't be on all of those streets. So the citizens are calling us, asking us for those things. And all we want is related to the people who came into the city. So something simple like putting a sign up. People don't want to hear signs don't work. People want to see a sign put up. People want to see a letter sign put up. They're asking for it. We have the signs put up. That's what people with the speed bump. That's all they're asking for. They're not asking for anything major. So I think until we start listening to these citizens, we need to start letting some of these people ride around with trucks with no air conditioning. Let's not prove all this stuff. I mean, we got to start listening to people who live in these cities.
Tom?
To expand on that, before I was elected, one of the main requests I had was about the speed in the neighborhood. And the thing about the speeding is, I know one thing is the speed limits are not regulated by the city. Once it's 35, it's 35. But our streets are very dynamic with the people that live there. For instance, on one street in District 3, on this side of the street, a young lady moved in with kids under 10 years old. Or directly across from her, another young lady moved in with 3 kids, all under 10. So that's 7 kids playing on that small street. So I said, let me see if I can drive 35 miles an hour down this street. I could even get to 30 in good conscience. We have temporary speed bumps that cost, I believe, $250 a speed bump that we can put in places, in situations like that. When they wear down, if the conditions change, we don't put speed bumps back down. The other problem I noticed is with the calculations that we use for determining whether or not the conditions, how fast the cars are going, it actually warrants speed bumps. So you have to have a certain amount of vehicles traveling at a certain amount of speed that goes over the 85th percentile. If you calculate all the time in a 24-hour period, most of those hours have no cars. But if you factor that into an average to get a mean, it sullies the waters. And this is why 95% of all the tests pass. So we need to take another look at how we determine whether or not they're speeding. Not to mention that the average person knows that those 2 little strips in the street are for speeding, and they slow down. So I agree with Councilman Howard that this is low-hanging fruit, and I've even had citizens to where I'm trying to follow the rules, and they have gone door to door getting signatures, got it notarized, got it turned in, and here we are months down the line, no response. No response. So the citizens get very frustrated that when I say no, This is the process that you have to do in order to get speed bumps in your community. And they follow the process to come to me and I turn it in. I don't get a response and they don't either. So that's a whole nother layer of the problem with the speed. So I would like the mayor and council to take this speeding very serious. Thank you.
Council, thank you. Any other council comments?
This is not nothing concerning you guys. I did something today. I'm not the best cook, and all y'all already know that. I was cooking in the kitchen and fire alarm went off and I couldn't stop it. I forgot my passcode and Miss ADT called, and by the time she called, the alarm had went off, and I'm telling you because they're going to tell me to you. Fire truck came and I tried to stop them. I called Miss ADT, she tried to stop her, they still came. And I'm so embarrassed, but they did do a good job. So I want to say that Chief Botwell, his firemen were on point for coming to put the fire at my house for a person that can't cook. But don't ask me that, I was trying. Thank you, Chief, for Miss ADT told me to, she said, would it take you an hour to finish doing? I said, yes. She said, well, I'm telling them, give you an hour, but they still can't. I just want to say I'm sorry, our city manager and the chief officer, please forgive me. It was just a mistake, sir.
Any other council comments? Hearing none.
Mayor, I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Favors and against?
Thank you.